So I put up a video yesterday showing that I was going through a process of creating an automated system for quoting and services project management that basically will quote, provide all the contracts, follow up, project management sequences, so that you can basically automate any kind of services or project management system in your business. And overnight, I had loads of messages come through to my inbox asking me for some more information about how that works. And I want to show you, actually, I'm going to show you my screen just to give you a couple of tips about some of the things you need to have in place if you are quoting and providing services. And I'm even going to show you a little drawing of my workflows and scrappy notes here just to give you some ideas. So basically, when you're providing any kind of services, the first step to automating this is automating the quoting process. This is where you want to be able to give people at least an initial estimate or what I call a pricing schedule via a completely automated form that will basically give the client or the prospect the opportunity to select what services they're interested in potentially getting from you. Behind the scenes, simply submitting this form where they checkbox every single thing that you offer that they might like pricing for, that's then going to fire off your automated workflows to send what we call a pricing schedule. Now I'm going to flip my screen and show you an example of what I mean by this in just a second, but the important thing to note is think of your pricing schedule for services a little bit like a menu at a restaurant. Right, you will basically look at a menu and you might have, for instance, 3 spring rolls equals this price. Now, behind the scenes, to make that spring roll, you need a sprinkle of bean sprouts, you need 6 peas, you need, whatever it is you put in there. There will be a simple recipe that fulfills creating 3 spring rolls. And then you've got your price. So then you might have, some garlic bread on the menu. You read it as the customer and you say 2 slices of garlic bread sprinkled with fresh parsley. You're like, oh yeah, I'll have that, $4, very nice, right? Behind the scenes, the chef knows how many loaves of bread they need, how many, spreads of butter they need, and how many garlic cloves they needed to crush into it, and what head of parsley they needed to make that particular thing, right? There's a recipe behind making the garlic bread. You get the point, right? So this inside our business, when we're providing any kind of services, is exactly the same. You essentially need to menuitize, totes a word, your services. You're going to list down every minute thing you do. And I'm talking to the spring roll level. Every single tiny thing you do. As an example, I help people set up all of their tech and automations. But I don't just have like one massive service where it says set up your workflows and automations, right? That's really big. We need to go down into every single step. It might be, like connecting a particular service, adding a tag. It might be, creating a web page, creating each email, how many words per email. You get the point. You need to go into a Google Sheet, and I'll show you my one as an example, where you're going to list all of these service descriptors down, exactly what people get in what's called a one quantity offering, and then your price for that. Then when people basically select those items in the quote request, you have this really, really clear pricing schedule that both guides you in then delivering the project behind the scenes and really easily being able to create SOPs for everything, standard operating procedures. But you also now have a really clear system menu by which the person receiving that pricing schedule can say, well, if 3 spring rolls costs $5, then 9 spring rolls is going to cost $15. Right? They are going to be able to see that if they want 200 spring rolls, it's going to cost that price times 200. It's going to be really easy for even the most complex and customized projects to be systemized, to be automated, to have SOPs connected to them, to enable you to create preset tasks behind the scenes that get auto-assigned to specific individuals for you to follow up on those and see where any project's at any particular time. The key to automation is first in creating systems. And that starts with you as the business owner deciding what services will we offer, and what explicitly will be the deliverables that they get in every single one of those micro items. So let's turn my screen around and show you. So in here, we've got our services sheet. We've got, for instance, I'm going to use a pen, so I keep looking at my fingers. We've got a reference code here. This is just for internal use. Think of it like a SKU code if you are used to e-commerce or anything like that. So we create our own system for basically giving a reference number to all of our services. We then have the actual name of the service, and this will be, for instance, what the client is going to be selecting in their quote request form or in their pricing schedule form. This is the actual service that the client's going, yes, I want to set up a customer journey, for instance. Yes, I want to have a full audit of my TekMatix account. Yes, I want custom tags created. Yes, I want someone to help me import my contacts lists, right? You get the point. This name of service is what the client needs to understand. This is what's going to basically be on your menu. Then what you have, and this one is critical, this is the part that is going to make you or break you in services business. If you haven't done this part, if you haven't explicitly detailed what people are going to get, what they're not going to get, so you'll note here I also have exclusions, what's not included, right? This is where you will have project creep. It's where you will have people who expected more than what you can deliver, and therefore you end up having losses happening in your business. It's where if this isn't clear, you could have litigation, where you could have people, asking for refunds because they got a service they didn't expect. This bit here is where you really clearly tell the client, this is what we will do when we say this. And then you have the quantity. So this is one quantity and this is the price, okay? When this person now receives a quote or the pricing schedule with this on, they will know that if they want, for instance, I don't even know what's in this one, they'll set up their email configuration and everything. So that's not the best example. Let me show you something that's really, really clear. Here's an example here where somebody might want us to create an email nurture sequence for them. Right, they get all of this for one quantity. So the one quantity gets you all of these things. And there's the quantity, number one, and there's the price. So if this person now knows that they want to have 6 email nurture sequences, they know that's what they're going to get, and it will be times 6 of that. Boom. Now you can easily do quoting and estimates, easily provide pricing schedules, and on top of that, you can now also make sure that you are creating standard operating procedures behind the scenes, which are going to help you to now manage your team using automation technology, where the automation technology, and in particular, we're using TekMatix, can now track when tasks are completed. They can move the customer along the customer journey, the project milestones pipeline. You can now follow up with staff or the assigned member if particular information hasn't been completed, tasks haven't been completed, particular time periods have passed by, if certain forms haven't been filled in, such as the onboarding process. And then from there, you can now create a whole set of workflows or automated sequences that can basically do this management for you. I'm going to show you another little bit of a design here of some scrappy notes on paper. So these are the workflows that I've just sort of drew out yesterday. I'm sorry, these are really scrappy notes on paper right now. But basically, I want to take you through the main stages. First of all, you might have a services page on your website. So this is your website. You'll list out all your services and you'll have some kind of button or form in there that says get a quote. All right, this takes them to the quote request form. And this is where basically they will have a little checklist. So they will have all these little checklist items of all of your names of your services. So service 1, service 2, service 3. This form is basically going to say, tick everything that you would like a quote for. All right, and all they're going to have to do is go, yep, no, yep, blah, 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 blah. Now they press submit or get quote. What happens now? Well, this now will trigger off a workflow. So quote requested workflow. This workflow will now fire off a whole bunch of actions that will take that delivery of the quote or the pricing schedule to the next stage. So for instance, in ours, it will now send what we call a pricing schedule, and sorry about my terrible scribbles here, a pricing schedule that will now list all of these deliverable service descriptions and the pricing. All right. Now, on that quote form or the pricing schedule form, we also have 2 buttons, which are trigger links. One is that they have, sorry, I'm really struggling to hold this. One is that they accept the quote and want to proceed to the next step. And the other one is, no, thank you, I don't wish to proceed. Pricing's way out of my budget. And obviously that will then remove them from any reminder sequences, basically. So now what happens next? So let's say they've pressed the tick button. They do want to go ahead. This now creates and triggers a new workflow that they get moved into, and it's called a quote accepted workflow. Yay! Obviously they get tagged, they get sent their emails and all that kind of stuff. But as part of this process, this is now where you're going to potentially send them to a 15-minute call calendar or an onboarding call calendar, where you might use that onboarding call to just go through the final quote and just make sure that everything that's in there and the right quantities of everything are in there. And once they have attended the call or didn't show for the call, other actual actions will take place. But inside this quote accepted workflow, you are then going to do things like request the 50% deposit, track whether that 50% deposit's been paid. Obviously, it doesn't have to be 50%. This is just my particular example here. And if they haven't paid the deposit, you can actually get the system to go into what's called a repeating reminder sequence. So the system could go, have they paid the deposit? If no, send them the reminders, wait for X period of days and check again. And basically it will keep going round and round, reminding the client until that deposit's been paid, all on autopilot. From here, if they have paid the deposit, then they go down a different branch, which will now automatically assign the tasks to the dedicated or allocated person. It may also now trigger any other onboarding calls that need to take place or sending them onboarding forms. And then that onboarding form or those actions or that call can now go and fire off other sequences. So have they filled in their onboarding form and sent all their onboarding information through? Then if yes, now we will start the workflow called Project Active or Project Live. If they haven't, it will just keep reminding them to fill in their onboarding form and that they can't start the project until they have filled in the onboarding form. Now, once we've got the onboarding form information, now they're considered a live project. This, of course, then this workflow will go on and start tracking whether your staff have completed all of the tasks and the actions, reminders, and all of that fun stuff. Woo! That is just the beginning, and obviously isn't all of them. There's a lot of other workflows based on if people cancel, if they decline, if they don't show for calls and all that kind of stuff. But I want to just give you an idea of just how powerful automation and systems are in your business. This stuff is fundamental. It is going to save you thousands of hours of time in trying to track and manage all of this stuff manually. It's going to enable your team and staff that you do have to focus on the important part of actually fulfilling and delivering the project, right? As quickly and as efficiently as possible. So if you want help getting this set up, if you have services and you want to automate your services and you want more automation or systems in place to do it, this is a service that we provide at TekMatix. So not only is TekMatix the platform from which you can run all of this automation and systemization from, we also have a service where we can set it up for you. And that includes the advice and guidance of myself and my senior leadership team to help customize what these workflows, what these pricing models might look like for you in your business based on how you do things. So if you'd like some more information, feel free to reach out to us on support@tekmatix.com, and I look forward to helping you get this done. I also, on a personal level, outside of TekMatix, as a tech consultant, I also do have what's called Get It Done days. So inside these Get It Done days, basically online or in person, you can come right here to my house and sit on this very chair next to me here. I can actually sit with you in person for anything from 30 minutes to 6 hours, again, online or in person, and actually do this for you in your account, with your account on my screen, and I sit here and do it with you and for you, aligned to your business. So if you're interested in a Get It Done day, that can be found on my sarahcordiner.com/services page, and you can just book a Get It Done day with me directly into my calendar from there. If you've got any questions, drop them below, but I hope you found that informative, helpful, giving you some ideas of inspiration, and I look forward to helping you get your stuff automated too. See you in TekMatix.